right. Finally, things are starting to work. Can you hear me now? All right. I can't. Nothing's working right now, but we finally got audio. I'm sorry you guys couldn't hear that, but that was a teaser. Also, we can't play the audio anyway because we would have been copyright clipped. I need to work on that permission thing from Warner Brothers. I know. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Torn Tuesday, your weekly dose of all things Tolkien, coming at to you live in Sauron Vision. Look at this. Yes, we are in Sauron Vision, and this is not a digital effect. We do everything like Peter Jackson and Weta Workshop do, by hand, by real. And I am joined by the always effervescent and from a faraway place, Miss Green Dragon, Kirsten.
Hi, hi. Yeah, it's just after 1 a.m. here in Scotland, so it's a bit late, and that's why I'm in my pajamas. So, but I figured I'd stay up and say hi and join some of the exciting build up to San Diego. What is that gigantic ring that you have there? It's very cool.
It's Sauron
Or I should
Vision,
say,
and it's one of
it's
many
quite
things that
cool.
are coming to Comic-Con this year.
It's
Uh,
quite cool.
it's really cool. It lights up and it perfectly frames my Haladriel t-shirt. Look at that. Someone screenshot that and post it and tag the right Haladriels out there. Kirsten, I guess the first big reveal is you're about to hop on a flight.
Yes, well, yeah, I don't know if that's a big reveal. It's not that exciting. But yes, next week I will be. I generally don't join the fun at San Diego. It just doesn't really usually fit in my schedule, and I'm always at home in the UK in the summer, and it's a long way to go, and blah 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 blah. So I'm always an East Coast gal. I do Dragon Con and New York Comic Con every year. But this year Prime Video invited me as it's a Rings of Power year, and I said, "Oh, go on then." So flying, it's a full day of traveling. I've got to fly from Glasgow here down to London, and then it's 12 hours from London to San Diego. And then I have 3 days there, and then I have the same journey back again. So it's a bit mad, but it's going to be very exciting. Of course, I'm looking forward to the Rings of Power stuff, but mostly I'm just looking forward to the joy of hanging out with fellow fans, as it always is in any of these events.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. To answer some of the questions, Arne is in the chat room. I haven't seen you in a while, Arne, or Arn. Clifford Broadway texted me saying he needed the night off. He needed to rest his voice and everything in preparation for Comic-Con this week. So Cliff has the week off. You got me and you got Kirsten, and you've got a lot of reveals that we didn't get to
Can I
last year.
just say, I'm amused by Cliff resting his voice because I have 3 gigs this week. My sort of one of my day jobs is as a singer, and I'm like I have to be up at 6:15 to go to one of my gigs, and I'm here for Torn Tuesday. I'm not resting my voice. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, we wish Cliff the best, and I think I have to have a conversation with Cliff because next week, Torn Tuesday occurs on Tuesday during setup. I will be out of pocket. I'll be at the convention floor, busy, sweaty, nasty, and I won't be able to do the show. So I got to talk to Cliff. Maybe he'll do a show for you guys. Maybe we take next week off because our next episode is episode 750. A lot of shows that we've been bringing to you for over 14 years.
Hmm.
Well, it seems that we have a leak here at the onering.net. Kirsten, we have a small, tight team of volunteers. None of us get paid. We all volunteer our time from our busy day jobs, but someone leaked to SDCC blog a lot of the stuff that we didn't even announce last week. How does this happen?
How could that possibly have happened? Maybe, they slipped us a few fivers and we slipped them a bit of information in return. We you know what they say, we have many spies, birds, beasts, San Diego Comic Con unofficial blog. And we like to, spread the love of how the news gets out there.
Well, here it is. Yeah, let's just bring up their website. SDCC unofficial blog, your number one unofficial source for everything Comic-Con, and we love them so dearly. And they
If you're going to if you're going to San Diego Comic Con and you're not following their blog, you are missing out, because they are, as far as I can tell, they're one of the absolute best ways of working out what cool exclusives are being offered at the con, what cool happenings are going on at the con. They just really seem to have their finger on the pulse. So that's definitely one to check out.
Well, here we go. The big reveal that they leaked with the exclusive reveal is they got the link. I don't know how they got it, but they got the pre-order link to the Prancing Pony Tankard and Shot Glass. It's up. It's the link is on their website. Pre-orders for on-site pickup. Again, we only sell things at Comic-Con. The merch sales help us go to more conventions, and they help us pay for all the hotels and the flights from around the country and around the world. So, we're just trying to pay our way. So the officially licensed Middle Earth oversized wooden mug and shot glass are up for pre-order. The link is at sdccblog.com. Here's how it works, folks. You order it, you tell us what day you'll be at Comic-Con, and then you come to our booth and pick it up. It's that easy. And one of the reasons we want to do it is because we wanted to give everybody a chance to get this Comic-Con exclusive, because we know some people only have a Sunday pass. Some people only have a Friday pass. Some people are only coming for Rings of Power on Friday at Hall H. So we wanted to spread the love and make sure everybody had an opportunity to get what we expect one of the hardest to get things at Comic-Con. So Carson, you've seen the reactions from fans. I mean, this thing's amazing.
It's so cool. It's really cool. It's a great delight that we are able to collaborate with our fellow licensees from Middle Earth, and that you guys have seen, if you've been to our booth before, that we've had things from OSHA and Shire Post Mint and Geek Orthodox, all these incredible licensees, Kings Wild, and they're all going to be there again this year. But now we have this really cool set, this incredible tankard from Bergschneider, and the beautiful engraved Hobbit-sized shot glass. So it's not a regular shot glass; it's kind of a big glass. They're just stunning. They're absolutely stunning pieces. And am I right, Justin? If you pre-order, there's a special exclusive pin that will go at no extra charge. It's a free gift, but only if you pre-order online. Is that right?
Yeah, Middle Earth Enterprises have these wonderful pins. We showed you the pin they're giving away at their booth. It's green. The green one they're giving away at the Middle Earth booth, Prancing Pony. But this blue variant is exclusive right here to this bundle. So if you pre-order it, you get the blue variant that says SDCC 2026. They've only made a few, and we're the only place to get them. You see the card backs. It says signed Barlam and Bartabirds, the Prancing Pony Pint Club, SDCC 2026 pin, exclusive variant, only available through this bundle, and only available through Torrent. You won't find it at any other booth, and you won't find this online. So we're really excited, and just in the last couple hours of this being up, I think we're gonna post about it on our own socials tomorrow. But just in the first couple hours, let me take a look at right here. We've already sold 10% of our stock.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even shared it ourselves yet. We haven't even put it out there that this is up there, and this is more than a week to go before the con. So if you want to pre-order that, don't miss it. It sounds a bit like we're doing like Home Shopping Network here, but as Justin said before, It really is for us. It's just about the joy of bringing cool stuff. Anyone who knows me in the fandom knows that I'm all about getting cool stuff. I'm often quoted. I like blagging my way to getting people to give me stuff, right? So, and one time I was doing the rounds, and somebody had given it was promo stuff from shops when they had promo materials for Lord of the Rings, and I'd gone in and said, "Ooh, what are you doing with that?" And and I was going to another shop, and I said to one of my friends, "Here, hold this. I don't want anyone to see that I've already got this. I don't want free stuff to get in the way of getting more free stuff." So this is a quote that one of my friends says to me all the time. Anyway, I like stuff is the point of that story, and I'm a huge collector, and I get such a kick out of the really cool things that we are able to have at our booth that I just know that my fellow collectors are going to be excited about. And yeah, as Justin said, we're not in it. We don't really make money. We just about cover our costs. The cost of being at San Diego Comic Con and having a booth and bringing in our volunteer staffers and putting them up and da 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 da. It comes to a lot. So um, we try and price things in such a way that we can be sure that we can actually cover it, because otherwise where is that money going to come from? We're all just volunteers. But we try and keep the prices as low as we can where we have a choice about the pricing, because we want people to enjoy it and have fun with it. So
And
I heartily encourage you to check it out.
to answer some questions that came up in the Discord as soon as people saw the link, we will have extra copies, extras of everything at Comic-Con. We're not selling out online just yet. And at Comic-Con, you can buy each item individually. You can buy the shot glass by itself, and you can buy the mug by itself. When you guys hold this mug in your hand, you're going to be blown away. But so everything will be available as solo purchases at the One Ring booth 1934. But for this preview, for this pre-order exclusive, you get the exclusive pin. And that is the pre-order exclusive.
And that's not available, right? And the other thing is, if I can understand if someone's like, oh, I can't afford the whole set, so I'm just going to get the shot glass or something, that's cool. But I recommend, if you're there all con, get it as soon as you can, because we are making sure that we're keeping some back so that people can buy them at the booth. But I don't know how long they're going to last. If I'm honest, I think people are going to snap them up. So if there's something you really want, make sure you come by the booth as early as you can in the
Yeah,
course of the con.
totally. All right, and look, that's not the only thing that
I'm
SDCC. Nope, there was a
sorry,
little.
I was just going to say I'm trying to come with am I here? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to come with a big suitcase with room in it, because I know I'm going to want to take some of these things back myself.
Well, I see Douglas Dunklin in the chat room. I see Red Odyssey Live. Hello, my favorite people. Great to see some people here. That wasn't the only thing that SDCC blog got their hands on. Kirsten, this new T-shirt. Every year, the One Ring comes to Comic-Con with a brand new T-shirt that just gets people so excited. And this one we worked really hard on, and the rumors are
Yes.
true. The rumors are true. Yes, we are doing a Mary Doll River Daughter T-shirt. This is the actual T-shirt that will be available at the con. You can see it is it is inspired by Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album. We one of the most legendary rock albums of all time, and written and produced by all members, singing and writing. And we thought, who are the characters in Middle Earth that best represent a singing couple? And of course, that is your favorite character, right, Kirsten?
That's right. That's right. I was really keen that we do something this year with with Tom Bombadil on it, and Goldberry is actually my all-time favorite Tolkien character. Um, and because of everything we've been hearing about the Colbert movie, which is gonna apparently have Tom Bombadil in it, and we're buzzing about Tom Bombadil this year, and so we really wanted to come up with a design, and then I think it was Calasuri who first, he and I were chatting, and he was like, "What's that album cover? It's got the two people on it," and I was like, "Rumors," and he goes, "Yeah, that's the one." Anyway, I love the work like that you put into this, Justin, and collaborating with an artist, and it's just such a cool image. I'm excited by this Tom and Goldberry shirt, and I like that you've got I think, is it opening night only that you're doing the album cover variant? I think that's really cool.
Yes, I got my hands on the first one off the press today. Check this out, folks. This is the very first one. This is the Comic-Con preview night exclusive Mary Doll River Daughter t-shirt. This will only be available on preview night. We're not going to have many. This is a preview night exclusive. It is a black and white variant with a shock of blue. Was the feather in his cap? Of course it was. But this best represents the album that the album called Rumors. And this is, we try to get it as inspired by as possible. I don't know why it wants to blur everything, but there you go. Mary Doll, River Daughter, preview night exclusive. So stop by the booth if on preview night, and you'll be able to get the exclusive one and the regular one that we just showed you. Douglas Dunklin says, "Don't forget to save plenty for DragonCon."
Yeah, we will, Douglas. We will have this design. I was going to say that actually, we are going to have this design at DragonCon, but I haven't decided yet exactly like what colorway we're going to do for this. We'll come up with something a little different for DragonCon. We'll have some the same as San Diego, and we'll maybe have a slightly different colorway, or we'll maybe do some on a slightly different cut of shirt. But we will definitely have this design at DragonCon, and we're also working on. I've just been talking with Jim, Mad-Eye Gamgee, and Deej, my DragonCon colleagues, today about a possible shirt design for DragonCon. So we may have a brand new shirt design coming for DragonCon as well. But certainly the Mary Doll River Daughter shirt will be there in some form.
Awesome. And then, of course, we're bringing back the Prancing Pony Club with the glitter ink. Of course, we love Chapel Roan and we love the Prancing Pony. Let's put them together, and you got the Prancing Pony Club, and they will be available in both men's unisex and in women's cut, because everybody's been asking for women's cut. Kirsten, what they didn't reveal on SDCC blog is something that we just locked down minutes before this show. Should we do the big announcement?
Yeah, I think you should, Justin. I think you should share that we have a special guest who's going to be hanging out at our booth on Friday.
There it is. Bear McCreary himself is coming to Comic-Con. We can confirm Bear McCreary is coming to Comic-Con, and he is doing a signing at our booth Friday at noon 30. That's right. Bear McCreary is signing at our booth Friday at 12:30, right after the Rings of Power Hall H panel. So right after Hall H panel, you're gonna have to walk swiftly over to the One Ring booth in Hall C and get in line for Bear McCreary. I don't know how we did it. Kirsten, I don't know how you did it, but we have copies of the Rings of Power vinyl soundtracks for sale at the booth. We have them in vinyl. We have them in CD. We even have the big 10 CD box set of the complete recordings of Season 2 of Rings of Power. All of it for sale. And of course, Bear has a brand new album called The Singularity with an all-star cast of musicians and guests on it. Bear will be signing both the Singularity and Rings of Power soundtracks at the Torn booth, and you can purchase them in advance of the signing at our booth. And we have I think we have enough copies to handle an hour-long signing. So, man, this is exciting. When was the last time we did a big signing like this at the booth?
Well, I mean, Bear did swing by our booth kind of impromptu 2 years ago when he was there for Rings of Power season 2. He swung by the booth, and I think that was why his manager Joe, who's a fabulous guy, got in touch with me and was like, "Hey, if you guys are doing a booth again this year, can Bear come by and hang out with you guys?" And I was like, "Oh, let me think about that for a moment." So I think it's really exciting that we're going to have his album Singularity, as Justin said, and the Rings of Power soundtrack at the booth. And you can buy those before the signing, or you can buy them at the signing. If we have any left after the signing, you can buy them. If you're coming to the con on Saturday or Sunday, you can come and pick one up. As long as we have them, they'll be there for sale, but they may well sell out in the signing. So the idea is that you come and pick up some of Bear's music, whichever recording takes your fancy, and that's what he will be signing at the booth. He's coming for an hour, but he said he'll stick around longer if there are still people waiting in line. He's a generous guy like that.
If there's a line, come on, guys. Like, this album, The Singularity, features Billy Boyd and Lee Pace on songs. This guy, I'm telling you, The Singularity is the album that you want to get, and Rings of Power is the also thing that you might want to get signed. So this is we're really excited to have Bear McCreary right after the Hall H panel, which we don't know what's happening in the Hall H panel at all. We just know Bear's coming to our booth afterwards.
You know what? I have to get in touch with them. So 2 years ago, the Hall H, they had this bit where there were people singing, and they were doing like some of the dwarven singing and stuff like that. And a former student of mine, so I used to run the opera program at Boston Conservatory, and a former student of mine was singing in that little, and I was like, wait a minute. And he messaged me afterwards. He was like, are you here? And so I need to message him this time and be like, are you doing any singing at this time at San Diego?
That's awesome. That's so funny. To answer questions in the chat room, yeah, we're going to be selling the albums all weekend long. So if you want to pick up the albums preview night or Thursday or Saturday or Sunday, until they sell out, we'll have them. So we're really excited. That's not the only signing we got going on, is it, Kirsten? We've got our own staff have written some books and that are getting signed. Let's bring it up on screen. First off, we previewed the book last week, the big, heavy Middle-earth script-to-screen book. Well, Richard Taylor has agreed to do a signing with Kelly Rice. She announced it last week. We've confirmed Wednesday, preview night, 8 p.m. at the Weta booth. And if we don't sell out, she'll do another signing with Richard Taylor at the Weta booth on Sunday morning. Of course, Kelly is going to be at the booth hopefully most of the weekend. So if you see her, you can pick up the book. She'll sign it right there for you. And if you have a big, heavy Lord of the Rings book and you happen to bump into another Lord of the Rings person around the con, I would ask them to sign it too.
For sure. I mean, we know John Rhys Davies is going to be hanging out at the Weta booth some of the time, so our spies have been telling us. So, you might bump into Gimli himself and get him to sign the book. It's such a cool book. I have a copy of it. I'm in my bedroom at the moment, but in my living room, I have a copy of that book myself, which I don't believe I have had Kelly signed for me. So, but it's really cool. I think it's really exciting, and it's so nice that Richard has agreed to do signing as well. And I mean, it's just so cool that Kelly worked on and created this book with Daniel Faulkner. What a cool thing to do. That's some serious fandom kudos there. So I'm really excited that it's been re-released and that we are able to have copies of it, and that Kelly's going to be able to sign those for people, and that Richard will as well. And as Justin said, maybe collect a bunch of signatures in there over the course of the weekend.
Yeah. T with Tolkien has just confirmed with me that I think she's going to announce it in the morning, but yeah, sneak preview. T with Tolkien will be doing a signing at our booth on Sunday at 11 a.m. Signing her book Into the Heart of Middle Earth, which we've shown on the show a few times, and I think everybody had a copy was holding up on screen. Those are the signings that we know of and that we're hosting. There are a bunch of panels that a Lord of the Rings fan should be aware of. We're gonna post this all on the onering.net in the morning, so don't worry, you don't have to take notes right now. There'll be a blog post that you can share the link with everybody tomorrow. But we want to give you a heads up. Look at all these Lord of the Rings panels. Nine Lord of the Rings panels. Crazy, right?
It's a suitable number. 9 is a very good number for Lord of the Rings associated things.
Isn't it? Isn't it just? Isn't it just? And we do love our Sauron ring cam. This ring cam, ring vision. We should call it ring vision. That's what we're going to do. All right, so starting on Thursday at 11 a.m., we're just going to run through the schedule. Thursday at 11 a.m., bringing licensing to tabletop games with Asmodee. Asmodee, of course, is the Embracer partner for all Middle-earth board gaming. So one of the heads and a couple creatives of Asmodee are doing a panel on all the plans that they have for Lord of the Rings board gaming. I just got some flyers that they're going to be handing out in the warehouse back here. Stuff I hadn't heard about. I can't wait for everybody to see what's going on. It is a great time to be Lord of the Rings fan into board games. I'll just leave it at that. Secondly, on Thursday, 11:45, Bear McCreary is doing a one-man panel on musical world building. He'll be touching on God of War, Rings of Power, and his many, many other Emmy award-winning soundtrack and video game award projects. So we're really excited. Bear's going to be there on Thursday at 11:45. Weta has an awesome panel on Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, Building Worlds, Creatures and Ecosystems. This panel features Weta Workshop's Richard Taylor, along with some creatives and some environmentalists, to talk about what it takes to bring an ecosystem to life through the Weta Workshop process. Ecosystems of Middle-earth, ecosystems in Avatar. I mean, these guys are world builders, and this is perfect. This is the perfect panel for anybody that wants to know more about how they actually do what they do. Kirsten, this has been a long time since we've seen Richard really talk about the craft of building, world building.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That sounds fascinating to me. There's so much that goes into making a place work and be cohesive. And of course, the professor was the master world builder in his word smithing. And this is a different, with Weta, it's a more practical or it's a more visual form, although of course Tolkien had all his art. But that ability to create a world that works, that is cohesive and consistent within itself, that attention to detail is amazing.
Yeah. And inconveniently titled is an unrelated panel on Thursday at 4 o'clock called Building Worlds Like Tolkien with Don Marshall. Those two panels have nothing to do with each other. They're completely separate, and they're put on by separate groups. Weta Workshop is doing the one at Thursday at 1 o'clock, and Don Marshall is participating in the one at 4 o'clock, talking about how he put together the book. What was it? The People's not the People's Guide to J.R. Tolkien. That's our book. I
That's
forget
all.
I forget Don's book, but Don Marshall, you've seen him on TikTok. He's a wonderful, wonderful person and makes amazing Lord of the Rings content. He put out a book late last year. It sold really well, and here he is in conversation talking about making the book. Of course, Friday morning opens with the big Rings of Power Season 3 in Hall H. I think Kirsten and I will talk about that in a minute. Later on Friday, after the signing with Bear, of course, you should head over to the Women Powering Pop Culture panel featuring Rings of Power Season 1 and Season 2 writer Helen Chang. She's one of our favorite people. She's been very supportive of Torn over the last several years, and we just love her work on Rings of Power. So she's going to be in a Women Powering Pop Culture panel. I'm really looking forward to that. Friday at 8:30 p.m. is a panel that I saw at WonderCon, and it was fascinating, and I highly recommend it if you've got nothing else to do Friday night. At 8:30 at night, there's a panel called Psychological Journey of the Lord of the Rings. You might know Todd Stashwick from his work on Star Wars, and he's been a voice actor in video games and many other things. Todd Stashwick has partnered with psychologists from UCLA Med School to analyze the psychological profile of Lord of the Rings characters. And it's a fascinating look. Kirsten, what was the last time we heard of any panel that kind of looks at Lord of the Rings from a scientific or medical perspective?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting thing because I can be a little skeptical sometimes about things that are kind of imposing a particular uh, lens on Tolkien's work, but it can be very rewarding. And when it's done well, it's absolutely fascinating. So there's always that, if I find this with literary critical theory as well, that sometimes I feel like it's just an imposition of a particular way of looking at things, and they're just kind of jamming it onto a text. But when it's somebody who is really expert and has a passion for the text and a deep knowledge of their subject, then it can be an absolutely fascinating thing. And this talk sounds like it will be.
Yeah, I saw it at WonderCon. It's amazing. And if you have nothing else going on Friday night, I highly recommend it. All right, 2 more panels. One, Designing Games in Middle-earth with Asmodee. This is another board game panel on Saturday at 2:45 p.m. And so if you want to see how the creative game engineers design different styles of board gaming and card gaming and tabletop gaming, and where they're taking the Middle-earth world and the storytelling opportunities through board gaming, this is the panel for you. Designing Games Middle-earth is on Saturday, 2:45. And then on Sunday is our big panel. Kirsten, we're fortunate that Comic-Con has entrusted Torn all these years to preach the gospel of Middle-earth.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty great. There's it's kind of hot competition to get a panel, and it's great that Comic-Con always gives Torn a panel. And as usual, our panel is going to be looking at what's coming up and sharing any inside scoop that we have. And there's a lot coming up in the fandom, and so if you're like, I just can't keep track of everything that's coming, I keep forgetting, what is this movie that's being made now? Come to the Torns panel, and I might even attend it myself. I'm not going to be talking on that one. I think I'm going to be manning the booth or womaning the booth, that Justin can be. And I also have to check what time I have to leave for the airport that day. But there are excellent volunteer staffers on the West Coast. And given that I'm not usually over there, I chose not to muscle in on that panel, but to leave it to the folks who always do it so admirably there. But so I might be making sure I'm holding down the fort at the booth during that time. But it's going to be an excellent panel, I have no doubt.
And we're gonna have a lot to talk about. We'll be able to share fan reactions to whatever Rings Power shows on Friday morning, and we'll be talking about everything that's coming out from Warner Brothers and Hunt for Gollum in New Zealand. We just had a video that we showed at the top of the show today, and Andy Serkis has been talking to the press a lot. So there's a lot to talk about. Of course, and I think Matt from Nerd of the Rings has some Magic the Gathering reveals. I don't know what that's about. Some Hobbit cards, whatever. Looks like the chat room is getting ahead of me by a couple minutes. Gosh, you guys, man, I can't move fast enough. Kenji Kamiyama is coming to Comic-Con. Did you know this, Kirsten?
I did. You told me the other day, and I was like, that is amazing. He is such a nice guy. And I mean, I was a big fan of War the Heron myself, and I think that's really cool that he's coming.
So he'll be in the autograph area, which I believe is the pavilion upstairs, like under the sails, like in between, in the middle of the convention. I think that's where it's at. I don't have any way of getting a hold of Kenji Kamiyama. Otherwise, I'd love to host him for a signing at the Torn booth. But he will be there, and yeah, you guys in the chat room are just ahead of me. Gosh, what else? What else can we talk about? What else to reveal? Let's see.
Well, I know you talked last week about the other stuff that we're going to have at the booth from our licensee friends. So there's going to be lots of cool stuff there. I do want to just mention, because people have asked me, I've had messages from people, and that we are not co-hosting a party this year, and I'm mentioning it just because I don't want people to think that we're hiding it from you. Some people have been like, hey, can't I get in on the party? And I'm like, there isn't one. So usually, we have done things in the past. Sometimes we've done our own events. A couple of times we've collaborated with Prime Video for a Rings of Power event. They did not ask our collaboration this year, and we are saving our energy for a big party in New York this year, as that will be just right before the actual release of season 3 of Rings of Power. So if you're planning on coming to New York Comic Con, or if you're within the vicinity of New York, Friday night of the con, join us for a big party in the Big Apple. But we're not hosting an evening event this year, so you're not missing out. We're not hiding it from you. This year we're not doing one.
And one more thing from San Diego Comic-Con, Gizmodo. Check this out. Gizmodo posted this article this morning. 15 panels we're most excited for at Comic-Con. And would you look at that? You just scroll back down to the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, Brad Bird, The Vampire Lestat, Guillermo del Toro, Aliens, Onslaught, Star Trek, Wolverine, and then Blade Runner and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Don't let anyone tell you that the shine is off of Lord of the Rings. Rings of Power is still the #1 show on Amazon Prime, and this panel is going to be packed. It's Hall H. It's 11 o'clock on Friday, and it's already on Gizmodo's top panels they're looking forward to at Comic-Con. So we're really excited to have the support of Bear McCreary signing the only merch available for Rings of Power. The soundtracks are the only merch that exists for Rings of Power, and we've got copies of them, and Bear is signing them at the booth. So we're really excited about that, and of course, this amazing T-shirt. Again, the black and white version is the exclusive for preview night. The full color version, the normal version, which is hand silk screened, will be available all week until we sell out. And we sold out of that Prancing Pony shirt on Friday night last year. So we're probably going to sell out. Kirsten, I know it's super late. I appreciate you staying up. I've got some other Lord of the Rings news, and I do want to pay tribute to Sam Neill, but I didn't want to keep you up.
No, I am going to head. But I really wanted to pop in and just say hi and that I'm looking forward to seeing everyone and hanging out in San Diego together. Um, and I know you're going to pay tribute to Sam Neill. I want to say myself that I have felt so sad, uh, so saddened by his passing. What a great actor! And I didn't know what you told me about um, casting for Lord of the Rings. I didn't know that story that I'm sure you're going to share in a minute. Um, but yeah, what a great actor, a great New Zealand ambassador as well, and it's one of those things, if I may wax lyrical for a moment, it makes me sad that I mean, he was obviously a super nice guy. And everyone who's worked with him, known him, come across him in any way has been pouring out these stories about what a great guy he was. And I'm sure he knew that he was a great guy, not in an arrogant way, but I'm sure he I saw an interview where he said, "I think I hope in life I'm one of life's goodies, so I like playing baddies on film." But it makes me sad that all of this outpouring of people saying, he was so kind to me and da 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 happens after he's gone. I feel like we should tell people how great they are and how much we love them whilst they can hear us say it. I hope he knew how much people were moved by him, touched by him, how much they appreciated his kindness and generosity of spirit. So that's going to be my parting thought for you all this evening. Let people know that they're great. I don't just mean your nearest and dearest in your loved ones, but the people in your life that you maybe only have a fairly fleeting acquaintance with, but they do something that makes your day. Tell them, hey, you made my day, because I think it's good for people to know when they're helping spread happiness in the world. You can give some happiness back by letting them know. Don't wait till people have died to say, hey, they were really nice to me. Tell them now that they're nice. And you're all nice. And I will look forward to seeing some of you in San Diego. And now I must go to bed because I have to be up in about 4 hours.
Well, thank you very much, Green Dragon, for giving us the update, and we'll see you in 1 week in San Diego. I'm so excited.
Yes, you will. All right. Take care, Justin. I'll see you soon.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
All right, folks, we've got some news hits. Would you believe it? MagicCon in Germany in October is having both Gil Gallads. That's right. That is Ben Walker and that is Mark, what's his name? Oh, man. Why did I mess that up? Mark Ferguson. It's right there on the side. Ben Walker and Mark Ferguson, both Gil Gallads, one from Peter Jackson's prologue intro, and of course the Rings of Power star will be at MagicCon in Germany in October. No word yet if Ben Walker will be at San Diego next week. I don't have any inside information on who's showing up at Comic-Con next week. But this is pretty cool. If you're in Germany, I'd head over there and do that. Other actor news, would you believe it? Adam Brown, Ori the dwarf, the skeleton that you see in Helm's Deep. No, not Helm's Deep. In Moria. Right? In Khazad-dûm. Right? Yeah. With the skeleton holding the book. That is Ori the dwarf. Adam Brown was Ori in the Hobbit trilogy, and you saw him last night have words with Greens, the leader of the Greens. Can't call him a king because he's not a king. So House of the Dragon, latest episode. I hope it's a recurring role for Adam Brown. So we do like a working actor. House of the Dragon airs every Sunday on HBO. What else is going on? Look at this. I just saw this U.S. approved launch of a mirror satellite that reflects sunlight and illuminates the Earth at night. And guess what they're calling it? Arendelle 1. That's right. The mad scientists have created a mirror that reflects sunlight during the night back to Earth, and they're calling it a Rendil. When Cliff gets back on the show, I'm sure we'll have a deeper discussion on whether that is the appropriate name for a device that destroys nighttime. Maybe words are a little too strong for that. What else do we got? Oh, would you look at this? The All Blacks. The All Blacks is the rugby team in New Zealand, and would you look at this? VIPs in the house. Elijah Wood, Jamie Dornan, Leo Wood, Andy Sturgis, and McKellen. We're all at the rugby game this week. Yeah. By the way, look at that cast. Jamie Dornan is Eric Strider. Everyone looks healthy. They look good. Everyone looks good. I just love that. I just love that. So the actors are in New Zealand. Now, you remember last week, Cliff exclusively reported that filming had begun on The Hunt for Gollum. Well, Warner Brothers today confirmed that by posting a video from the set. We showed it at the top of the show. But not only that, Andy Serkis has been doing some interviews. Andy Serkis says The Lord of the Rings is only using AI for some de-aging. Look at this. There's a little bit of de-aging, quote, for some of the characters, and machine learning is part of the process. When you think about it, in the original Lord of the Rings films, Peter Jackson created Massive, which was a program which allowed thousands of orcs to all have their own individual mindset. So this is a brilliant example of an incredible use of AI. But we're not creating AI shots in our movie. Every shot is created in a traditional way. One of the things, actually, that I really wanted to do with this film was to bring back all of the great filmmaking skills, from miniatures to prosthetics, and marry them up, because that's my taste. I like it when you mix up different filmmaking techniques. That's officially the word from Andy Serkis. We have been discussing the use of AI in Lord of the Rings for the last few years, and this is official confirmation for the first time ever. Andy Serkis is absolutely 100% using AI in the new Hunt for Gollum movie, but only for de-aging and only as a tool. So there you go. Andy had a lot more to talk about in recent interviews, but I want to have a better discussion, a more fruitful discussion with Clifford Broadway. So we're gonna save all of the recent comments from Andy Serkis about the projects, and I do want to save some of it for the panel, because I want the panel to be interesting and exciting. So I guess tune in the future, and we'll talk about this. I did want to bring up this old interview from a couple years ago. Viggo Mortensen, he says, "When I'm dead, I certainly don't want to be resurrected by AI." It doesn't sound like that's what they're doing with Hunt for Gollum. Again, Andy Serkis just said he's using AI for de-aging. And that doesn't mean de-aging from the dead. So we'll see how it works. But Viggo stated his purpose, and I wonder if he still holds to that. That's going to be for a future conversation. All right. So I wanted to end this show with a heartbreaking news this week, as New Zealand actor Sam Neill died this week, and if you've been on the internet, if you've been on social media for the last 24 hours, it has been nothing but positivity and great stories. And he wasn't just a great actor. Um, you know, he was a guy. And the only time, man, the only time I've ever cosplayed was Dr. Alan Grant for so I've got let's talk a little bit about New Zealand's own Sam Neill. First off, let me show you. I've got some videos queued up that show the measure of the man. Sam Neill, of course, from New Zealand. He's considered one of the greatest actors from New Zealand, and he'd tell you that. I've got a bunch of reactions from some of our favorite people here. First off, Reese Darby says, "I feel numb today. Sam Neill has left us. He was quite simply a humble, brilliant man who cared. He cared a lot about humanity and the environment we live in, especially Aotearoa. He was an inspiration to us all, and I was lucky enough to work with him on 3 separate occasions, a TV show, a movie, and a play. The trifecta. We always caught up with each other in the social and media events around these projects. I got to know him a bit. He was a genuine article, an absolute gentleman of the highest order. He named one of his cows after me. His wine is my wife's favorite. We are saddened today. Thanks for everything, Sam." That's from Reese Darby. Miranda Otto. "When I think of Sam, I think of light and joy and laughter. Such a bright light, so generous in every way. Forever young." Eowyn herself. A fan and a friend of Sam Neill. Here's Sam Neill and Cate Blanchett on a promo tour for a movie they did in 1998. I mean, you can't fake this energy. You can't fake this laughter. You can't fake this. Just, there's Galadriel. There's Eowyn. Let's take a look. Carl Urban, a beautiful man, a national treasure who gave so much to New Zealand and to the world. Joanna Robinson of the Ringer podcast. A moment that absolutely crystallized, absolutely defined positive masculinity for me. Sam Neill, the icon that you were and continue to be. And of course, his good friend, Peter Jackson. To our fellow Kiwi filmmaker, our sometimes neighbor, and our beloved friend, we cherish all the joy, talent, and love you shared with this world. From the first, in front of the camera and quietly behind it. From Sleeping Dogs to the myriad of other brilliant performances you gave us. You've always been a shining light of talent, creativity, and graceful joy in the act of telling a story. We will miss your right wit and wisdom. Peter Jackson does not post on Facebook that often at all. And he was one of the first to post about it. Deeply moved by Peter Jackson. And you won't believe this. Kirsten hinted this before. But we can confirm Sam Neill was originally offered Elrond. Sam Neill was Peter Jackson's first choice. Sam Neill was Peter Jackson's first choice for Elrond. Peter Jackson and Warner Brothers offered Sam Neill, coming off of Jurassic Park, coming off of Event Horizon, coming off of Bicentennial Man, The Hunt for Red October, In the Mouth of Madness. All of these huge hits. This was supposed to be Elrond. Sam Neill was Elrond. Universal Pictures would not let him get out of the filming of Jurassic Park 3, and he had to decline being in Lord of the Rings. That's right. Peter Jackson asked Sam Neill to play Elrond, and Universal Pictures would not let him. This is the original Elrond, and this is the Elrond that I wanted. Sam Neill was going to be Elrond, and he would have made a fantastic Elrond. And a character that needs to be recast for these new movies, by the way, because Hugo Weaving is not coming back. Here's another story from Peter Jackson, from our friend at Empire Magazine, Nick. Sam Neill and Peter Jackson were good mates. Love this story. Check this out. I was part of a prank he played on Sam Neill. It was a celebrity dinner thrown for Sam in Los Angeles. Peter Jackson could not make it because he was busy editing Lord of the Rings. So Peter rings me up and says, "Can you come along and film this stunt I want to do?" It was a video that played at a dinner for Sam Neill. It started in a car with Peter Jackson saying, "I think we should show all your friends your house in Wellington because it's lovely." All in one shot, what we call a oneer. We drive up to the house, and there are all these Hell's Angels outside. They'd broken into Sam Neill's house, and it was really his house. Peter Jackson had managed to get a hold of Sam Neill's house key, and we drive up to the scene of devastation. Peter tries to stop them stealing all his stuff and leaves with his tail between his legs, saying, "We're going to put it all right, Sam. We're going to get all those ugly stains out of the carpet." And while he's talking, the house actually catches fire and explodes behind him. It was all shot handheld, and he gave it to the Wizards of Weta to put in the effects. And that played at a tribute dinner for Sam Neill in front of an audience in Beverly Hills. That's how much of a friend Peter Jackson was to Sam Neill. I mean, close mates. I mean, Peter had his house key. Peter Jackson had Sam Neill's house key. And I think you all remember a few months ago when we showed Peter Jackson on camera talking about the depression he's been in, losing his best friend Andrew Lesney. He hasn't been able to direct anything since Andrew Lesney died. And Peter admitted that on camera. And fast forward to today, Peter Jackson has lost another close friend. A friend so close they had each other's house keys. Katie says that's beyond Merry and Pippin shenanigans. Yes. So there's just overwhelming amount of love and support for Sam Neill's passing. I think I found a couple more this weekend or next week while I'm at Comic-Con. I am gutted I am missing this because I'm going to Comic-Con to see you all. But here in Hollywood, director Philip Noyce and star Billy Zane, plus Sleeping Dogs director Roger Donaldson, will join us in person to pay tribute to their colleague and friend Sam Neill at July 24th screening of Dead Calm. Tickets are available at the New Beverly Cinema. That's here in LA. Of course, I don't want to get copyright clip, but of course, Sam Neill was in Hunt for Red October, where he just wanted to see Montana. The U.S. Naval Institute itself remembers Sam Neill. When was the last time you saw a government entity, a military entity, pay tribute to an actor? Of course, he was in Daybreakers, a wonderful vampire film. Even Pants did a cartoon about CM Neill and Alan Grant. And there's posts about where you can watch all of his movies on all the streaming services. The Piano is not currently available to stream. That's weird. There's Sam Neill doing yoga with a pig. There's Sam Neill and Ewan McGregor.
If it rains or freezes, as long as I've got my plastic Jesus sitting on the dashboard of my car. Painted colors, pink and fluorescent glows in the dark colors, iridescent ticket for you when you travel far. Get yourself a sweet Madonna, dressed in limestone, sitting on a pedestal, a Babylonian shell. Going 90, I ain't scary, cause I've got my Virgin Mary showing me that I won't go to hell.
The Dish. Good question in the chat. The Dish is one of my favorite movies, starring Sam Neill. Let's take a look. In Cold Blood, Hunt for the Wilder People, Thor Ragnarok, Escape Plan, Omen 3, The Horse Whisperer, The Jungle Book, Sleeping Dogs, The Apples Never Fall, The Good Wife. Man, I don't see The Dish. The Dish is a classic film about Australia, and I think it was Australia or New Zealand, how they saved the live broadcast from the moon. Remember when we first walked on the moon? Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and he goes, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. There were technical difficulties in America because of weather, and they needed a satellite dish in Australia to beam the footage from the moon back to the TVs. And there's a movie called The Dish starring Sam Neill. That is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful movie. Here is an amazing video. Let's watch
Best lesson you learnt from your parents?
Oh, wow, that's a really interesting question. That's a really, really interesting question. I think there were... I don't know why that question has moved me so much, but it has. My parents were of the generation that went through a lot of things. They went through the Depression. My mother lost her father in the First War, so she grew up without her father. Yeah, so they went through a lot of stuff. But they were very stoic people. And I'd had a year at university where I'd done bugger all. I was acting in plays and trying to find a girlfriend and things like that. So it came to exam time, and I realized I'd done almost no work. It got me very anxious. Anyway, I got home, and Mum said, "How are you, darling?" And I said, "Oh, Mum, I think I'm having a breakdown, and I've got exams in a couple of weeks, and I don't know how I'm going to go." And she just looked at me and she said, "Well, You're just going to have to pull yourself together, aren't you? And I think that was the best lesson I learned from her, is sometimes you just have to pull yourself together. It's a tough lesson, but it's a good one. But thanks for that question. That was a really
You're
interesting one.
welcome.
Amazing video there. Joanna Robinson, of course. I mean, he just laughs and he just brings joy to everybody's life. Oh man, that was an amazing movie. He was almost James Bond. That's right. Sam Neill was up for James Bond around the time, I believe, Pierce Brosnan. And he could have been James Bond. Let's listen in on what Sam Neill's James Bond sounded like.
So you're Tatiana Romanova.
My friends call me Tanya.
My friends call me Bond. James Bond.
I love that, actually.
So you're Tatiana Romanova.
My friends call me Tanya.
We don't want to get copyright clipped. All right. I mean, look how much fun. And then during the pandemic, if you go back to Sam Neill's Twitter and Instagram accounts, you'll see so much wonderful, wholesome content during the lockdowns, during the pandemic. Sam Neill became an international treasure, just bringing positivity. Look at this, from January 3rd, 2018. Yes, I know things can look a little glum at present, but for now, cheer up from us. Look at that. And then I wanted to leave you with one more video.
Bed. I do this
So we're just gonna end the show with this video. Sam Neill meant so much to so many people. It's so nice to see someone just so beloved. It reminds me of Bernard Hill last year or the year before, who played King Theoden, where Peter Jackson took out a whole page ad in Variety in tribute to Bernard Hill. Everybody had nothing but nice things to say. Well, Sam Neill, next level. Sam Neill, Peter Jackson's best friend. Sam Neill, who had the house keys, who shared his own house key with Peter Jackson. New Zealand's finest. It worked with everybody, and he was just a class act. So I'm gonna leave you. I'm just really sad about this one, but we're gonna get through it because that's what you do, right? So stay tuned. Next week we might do a show. Cliff might do a show without me because I'll be at Comic-Con. In the meantime, I will see you all at Comic-Con next week. This is Torn Tuesday, and this is our parting words from Sam Neill.
When I'm feeling stressed in bed, I do this silly thing, and it really works. Give it a try. I smile stupidly in the dark. And I think there's some kind of chemical thing that happens in your body. If you smile, you just feel better, and you've got a better chance of getting to sleep and getting good night's sleep. Give it a go. Smile with me now. Come on. It's working, isn't it? It is working. When I'm feeling stressed in bed, I do this.